is conscious of politics. To them, why should a Muslim be conscious of politics? So Islam is about ritual, Hamsat Salawat, pray 5 times in a day, in Ramadan, abandoning daily worldly activity, just fast. If you have money, go on Hajj. And that should be okay. Fakat, that should be okay. That is the narrow understanding of Islam to many of them. Many Muslims don't even see Islam beyond the rituals of the 5 pillars. So if you are accusing the non-Muslim of not having a comprehensive understanding of Islam, what of the Muslims themselves? To them, Islam does not go beyond the 5 pillars. But Islam is beyond 5 pillars. Islam goes beyond that. Islam is a way of life, a comprehensive way of life. It has an economic system. It has a social order. It has faith in it. And so many things combined. And that's why you cannot translate Islam as a religion. This is a contention between Islam and the people of the world today, especially Christianity. Now, having said that as a background, what is an ideology? An ideology is a system of ideas, beliefs, values, and principles that explains how society should work. And that is the goal of Islam. A system of ideas, of beliefs, values, principles that explain how a society should work. Islam, we only talk about Islamic society and non-Muslim society. Islamic family, non-Islamic family. Islamic economic system, non-Islamic economic system. So, Islam from inception came as a supra ideology for Muslims to embrace. Islam, therefore, or an ideology is a lens or a compass through which people understand and shape the world. You want to know what a lens means or what a compass means? You use a compass to get a direction if you are a surveyor. So, an ideology, therefore, is that compass or that lens to understand and shape the world. Without missing word, Islam qualifies for this definition we have given. Now, ideology is not just existing in a vacuum. What are the characteristics of ideology? Number one, it is a worldview. Ideology provides a framework for interpreting the world and human behavior. When we see things going in the world, some of us say, hey, why are we thinking like that? Because that, our worldview as Muslim, is what we are using to look at those things. That's why we don't like it. You go to a party, and people are drinking alcohol, and men and women are dancing together. As a Muslim, nobody tells you to leave. You want to leave. It is your worldview that is telling you that no. Or your human behavior. As a Muslim man, you go to a praying ground like a mosque. You now see a Muslim sister, you now embrace. People begin to wonder, what happened? That's meaning that that action contradicts the behavior of a Muslim. How do you do that? That is the ideology, that is the idea, that's your value system. That's the belief that you have. Number two, ideology is normative. It means what is good, what is just, what is desirable in a society. And that's Islam is give you guidelines about alcoholism, zina, interaction between man and woman, husband and wife, parents and children. All there are norms that must guide us in all this way of life. Then number three, ideology is prescriptive. It suggests how a society ought to be structured or governed. Some people say you that, what they concern you now, what they concern Islam with economics. Why do you need an Islamic banking system? Why do you need an Islamic insurance? You this Muslim say, your Allah too much. Why can't you be satisfied with what you have? This is because you do not know that Islam made some prescription on what we should do, what we should not do. In this regard, a riba, interest on capital, is considered haram. It does not mean that you cannot make profit, but there's what they call fixed return and variable return on profit. A fixed return on profit is that you are doing a business today. Today is 14th of September, and that in October 14, you already know the profit you are going to make on that particular business. That's a fixed return. In economy, what we are told is a ceteris paribus, all things being equal, and all things cannot be equal. So how do you determine a profit for a business you are entering today for something that's going to mature in October next month? That is what they call fixed return. Islam says no. All return should not be fixed. Return should be variable. It can be more than that, it can be lower than that. And that's why riba comes in. Or al-gharar. Al-gharar means uncertainty. When people started doing cryptocurrency, I think I gave a lecture here about cryptocurrency. I said it contains uncertainty in that you don't even know whom you are dealing with. It's just P2P, computer to computer. If the owner of the computer decided to close down that site, he has no address, there's no place you can go to. So in the process of that, and that's what actually happened. People woke up one day and they found out that all their coins in their wallet disappear. What can they do? They just made noise. No, they can't complain to anybody. So Islam has given us this prescription. Don't do it because of many things that are involved. Number 4, ideology inspires people to take action. Any belief system or way of life should inspire you to take action. Why do you save money? To go on Hajj, 8.5 million naira. Maybe that one can buy you a land, or can buy you a token worker, but you are saving it consistently. I want to go on Hajj. I want to go on Hajj. And when you come back, there is nothing physically in you. You are not taller. You are not fatter. Nothing has changed, except you have only have spiritual capital. Can anybody do that if you are not motivated by belief? Number 5, it is also collective. It is usually shared by a group or a movement or a political party. What we are saying is that if all of us come together to say this is our faith, we will all be proud of that particular thing. If we all agree that this is what we believe in, we will all be proud of that. That's why it is collective. It's not an individual thing. It can be a movement. It can be by a religious group. It can also be by a political party. So all of us are collectively involved in this thing that we have agreed. So these are 5 characteristics of ideology. I repeat, it's a worldview. It is about norms. It is prescriptive. It is motivational. And it is collective. Having said that, let us mention some notable modern ideology. Number 1 is liberalism. Liberalism emphasizes individual freedom, market economy. Individual freedom, everybody can do whatever they like. Nobody should shake him or her. That is why when you go to what happened in Europe and America, some of us look at, it is about neoliberalism. That is modern liberalism. There's nothing like doing it together. But Islam told us in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Quran 5 verse 2, Allah says, Allah said, come together, assist one another in the act of righteousness and in the act of fair taqwa, and do not join hands together in committing sin. So in essence, individualism cannot exist in Islam. Everything about Islam is collective. If you become a Muslim privately, You cannot observe Salah privately. You cannot fast privately. You cannot marry privately. You cannot go on Hajj privately. Most duties of Islam are done collectively. Even if you die privately, you cannot be buried privately. So that's how collective it is. So any ideology that is telling you my own, is not an ideology of Islam. It's something that contradicts Islam in no ramification. Number 2, conservatism. That is, when we say it's a conservative now, if you listen to American politics or British politics, you hear the conservatives, the Labour. In US, you talk of Democrat and the Republican, that they are conservative. When they want to discuss Saudi Arabia, they say conservative Saudi monarchy. Why did they say all those things? If you allow the Sunnah, what did they say? It's a conservative Muslim. If there are so many of us, we have so many appellations we give to our Islam. It's a liberal Muslim. You cannot be a liberal Muslim and you are still a Muslim. You are going to discuss that later. There is no appellation or a qualifier for Islam. Islam is Islam. Either before it or after it. No qualifier. Islam factor. So when you now have an appellation before it or after it, then something is wrong. A conservative people are those who value tradition. And when you say tradition, what does it mean? We are talking about all the issues we have been discussing here in this quarter has been about tradition, pristine Islam, orthodoxy. It's about authority. It's about social stability. Don't do this. This is what we used to do. This is where our predecessors used to do this thing. Don't go into that area. You are going to rupture the community. So that's what conservative. Then the third one is socialism. Social ownership and equalities in wealth distribution. Many of us we are aware of that. You used to talk of capitalism. You talk of socialism. Socialist Russia or Soviet Union. Socialist Cuba. Currently now socialist Brazil. And so many like that. Different from liberalism, which we talked about earlier on. The liberals are the capitalists, market economy, but this is opposite of it. Meaning that ownership of equality in wealth and in wealth distribution. That everything belongs to all of us. But is that correct? And that's the utopian of socialism. Those of us when we were at the university, we used to do Marxist-Leninist ideology. Marxist, black conscious movement. These are some of the things some of us we absorbed at that time. Radicalism. But socialism has its own injustice to the hardworking people. Those who are hardworking are being treated unjustly. Because everything belongs to everybody now, so you cannot go beyond what the state wants. Then you are not creative. Socialism also stifles individual growth and creativity. You can't think beyond what the state wants. Even there is corruption. Now, what happened to Ayetoro? There's, those states. Anybody who is elderly, around 40 years, can know what is. There's a community called Ayetoro. Those states. It's a riverine community. They have a socialist ideology in that town. Everything in that town belongs to everybody. But there's a church there, I think Kerubu and Serafu. That's their major religion. And they enjoy everything. They fish together, they farm together, they eat together, they do everything together. It was a socialist community. But it has collapsed. You can go and Google and study it. Why did it collapse? After some time, people like their own freedom. People want to exercise certain things. So when you do not allow them to exercise those things, what happens? The community is going to collapse. And that's why Ayetoro, those states collapse. That's why Soviet Union also collapsed. Belarus, Lithuania, Poland, Czech Republic, Yugoslavia, all these countries collapsed. Eastern Germany, because of socialist ideology. It wasn't socialism that collapsed then. It was the Cold War. Because during the Cold War, the capitalist economy, they were using a lot of propaganda against them. That this ideology is bad, you are not progressing because of what you are doing. But they made some progress in the area of technology. scientific discovery. They made progress. Well, capitalism was fighting there. That's why they call it Cold War. There was no physical war, but there was an ideological war. The same thing the Muslims, Islam is suffering today. Apart from Israel, that is waging war against the Muslim now, we do not have physical war being waged against the Muslim, but we have ideological warfare, Islamophobia, fanaticism, all sorts of things. They call you name terrorists. These are war to create psychological problem for the Muslim so that they won't have sense of identity. So the fourth one is feminism. Feminism seeks gender equalities. And it tries to challenge patriarchy. What is patriarchy? Patriarchy is the belief that men have some authority, leadership position over women. The aim of feminism is to fight that. Why should men control us? But in Europe and America, where patriarchy is being attacked, the women there pay bill. So most of our women in Nigeria who are fighting patriarchy, why should men control us? Are you ready to pay bill? Are you ready to rent house? Are you ready to buy food stuff in the house? Are you ready to pay for hospital? If you want to have a date with an American lady, let's go out for lunch. The American lady will not allow you to pay for that lunch. She's going to pay for herself, and you pay for your own. That's what they do in America. But in our own Nigeria, those who want feminism, in fact, she's going to invite friends. What do you want? I like Hennessy. I like, you have turkey? Yes, give me turkey. Our accent is going to change momentarily because she's not paying. She's not paying. And that's why men now are now getting wiser and wiser today. They will just leave the place, they go and urinate and they disappear. Islam make the Muslim man the Qawam. What does that mean? Leadership and responsibility. So that's why we separate. That's why Islam separates with feminism. Islam make the Muslim man the Qawam, the leader. And that leadership is responsibility. Then the fifth one is secularism. Secularism was born out of a word, increasingly alienated from God. You know, those of us in the humanities, the world, according to the Bible, according to the Christian, was flat. When science came, science said, no, the world is round, just like this gadget in front of me. And the Reverend Father at that time said, no, the world cannot be flat. Again, they said, the world moves. It's the world that is moving and not the sun. You wake up in the morning, you see the sun rising up from the east. By the evening, it is setting. The conclusion was that it was the sun that was moving and not the earth. That's the belief in the Christian religion. When scientists like Galileo, in fact, Galileo was executed. He was executed because of this statement. What did he say? When he was about to hang him, he said, a prison movie. A prison movie. That's a Latin word. That the earth is the one moving. And they see killing. Bruno, there's another guy called Bruno. Bruno was burnt and his boots were burnt. What of Copernicus? Copernicus did not survive it. He was also executed because of all this scientific thing. After that, when science now became triumphant, what happened to religion? Religion was abandoned. And that's why the medieval period saw the death of religion. In fact, people write, there's a book called The Death of God. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote a book called The Death of God. And he provided his own theory. This is the background of Europe at that time. The secularism now developed. What does that mean? Okay, we can't destroy you. Be on your own and be on our own. At a particular time, it was religion that dictated everything. Look at the university in Europe. You talk of Harvard. You talk of Cambridge. You talk of Oxford. You still find out that if you look at their emblem, you still see a cross. Most of these are extension of the churches at that particular time. The church dictated everything. But with the development of secularism, they separated. And that's why university now became a universal community, no more a seminary, an extension of the church. In the Muslim world, we have the same problem too. During the Abbasid Caliphate, up to Umayyad Orthodox Caliph, what we have was a caliph who was both a religious leader, a political leader. When the Ottoman came, they now want to secularize. We now have the Sultan. The word Sultan is a more secularized word for Amir. We have taken some power from you. Then that's why they now introduced the word Sultan. At that time, we now have political head. We now have a religious head. So Sultan, your job is basically in the masjid. Only the Muslim. That's why the word Sultan came into being. So, secularism creating a morally autonomous human being who is not answerable to any creator. And that's why people say Nigeria is a secular state. Many of us should be able to tell them, no, Nigeria is not a secular state. Section 38, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution only says that the Nigerian government shall not adopt any religion as a state religion. It does not mean secularism. Again, secularism is not uniform. There are so many branches of secularism. What secularism simply means is that the government shall distance itself to all religion with equal diameter. Is Nigerian government doing that? If Nigerian government is distancing itself from Islam 1 kilometer, it should also distance itself from Christianity 1 kilometer. To traditional religion 1 kilometer. Not 1 kilometer for Islam, 200 meters for Christianity in some areas as we experience in Nigeria today. So when you talk of secularism, that's what it means. But we sponsor Muslim for Hajj. We sponsor Christian to Jerusalem, to Jordan, to Greece, to Italy. Is that secularism? No. Nigeria has an ambassador in the Vatican. Up to today. This is part of the hypocrisy of the Christian. The Vatican, which is a state, is just the diameter of the national stadium, Surulere. That's just the diameter. Anybody who has gone to Lagos, watch football. That's the diameter of the Vatican City. And Nigeria, we have ambassador and staff, just for which people? Only for the Catholic. When you now mention them, but you have Saudi Arabia, they are not the same thing. Saudi Arabia is a state. It's a modern state. While Vatican is a religious city. It's not even a city. Now, secularism, those of us from the southwest, we used to go to school on Saturday until some years back. What happened? I knew that it used to be Saturday school in Lagos. We used to have it in Ibadan in those days. It was the Seventh-day Adventists during Gowon that complained that that's their day of worship. And Saturday was given to them. What is the population of the Seventh-day Adventists in Nigeria? In fact, they took a case to Supreme Court that Nigerians should not conduct election on Saturday again because it's affected them. They won, they took it to High Court, they lost. They go to the Appeal Court, they lost, and Supreme Court. What was the judgment? The judgment said that even their population, even if the election is conducted on any other day, their population cannot affect the outcome of the election. That's why they lost that. But you can say how audacious they are. We are the Muslims for all this year, we have been suffering on Juma. If you are an imam, you know what I'm talking about. You are leading khutbah, you'll be looking for your wife, your children, whether they are there, because you came from different places. Somebody is coming from the shop, you are coming from the office, your children are coming from class, or they don't even know that you don't even pray in the same place. But the Christians have Friday to prepare, Saturday to prepare, and Sunday to prepare. When they come to the church on Sunday, how do they come? They come majestically. The husband is in the front, followed by the wife, and the two children and the dog. You don't see them as more organized. How are they not going to be organized? Because the system has supported them to be organized. The system has not supported them to be organized. If you now say, give the Muslim public holiday for Friday, the Muslims say, no, there is no Sabbath in Islam. Allah said after Juma, disperse into the world and see the bounties of the world. Again, Saturday and Sunday is not a universal weekend all over the world. There are some places, Thursday and Friday are weekend. Now, if you count Saturday and Sunday, it means that the Christians enjoy 104 public holiday in a year. 104 public holiday in a year. 52 Saturday, 52 Sunday, add it together. The public holiday is not meant for me, and it's only meant for the Christian. That is how the system will be organized. So if anybody says Nigeria is a secular state, these are the things to let them know that Nigeria cannot be a secular state with all this thing we do. Nigeria at best can be regarded as a multi-religious state. Having said it, I'm going to focus this lecture only on two ideologies. I've explained what I need to explain all this here. So I'm going to focus on liberalism and feminism. These are the two ideologies that are ravaging the Muslim mind today. Now, liberalism and neoliberalism. Neoliberalism or liberalism came out of the womb of secularism. Secularism gave back to liberalism. And I've explained what is secularism. Liberalism is a court. You know what the meaning of court is now? Court of money. Where money is the organ. Money is the organ. Money is the God in liberalism. Everything receives its value from the power of money. Nobody wants to care how much does he have in his account. You want to marry me? Yes, now. You have stars? Yes. How much have you saved? These are questions of how money dictates marriage today. In state engineering, they privatize the asset. They devalue the currency. And that's what we are suffering in Nigeria today. These are all liberalism. Privatize the asset of the state, let individuals buy them. They will run it better. Then the currency. How do you determine the value of the currency of a country for that country? You say, okay, let's float it. What is currency? A currency that is not supported by gold, just paper money. There is no value, there is no intrinsic value in the currency that we have in the world today. Even the dollar has no gold backing it up. The naira has no gold backing it up. In those days, currency are backed up by gold. But you just go to the bank or go to the CBN or printing machine, print money. We already printed 30 trillion naira. Of what benefit? Those money were shared. No productivity, no industrialization. We did not even use the money to do our local thing in Nigeria. We just printed and we share. These are liberalism. Then the welfare of the citizen is secondary in a liberal economy. They tell you keep on sacrificing the pain that is going to be pain, but there's going to be gain. We have not seen the gain. We are just hoping. Everybody is going to see the gain, but we have not seen the gain. They will also tell you that the state cannot run business. There's no business or government in running business. Any one of us, if you are above 50 in Nigeria, you will know that Nigeria has so many companies. They were doing well. The Nigerian Airways, Nigeria Shippers Council, Nigeria Port Authority. Then we have Assembly Plant in Lagos, Volkswagen. We have Leland in Ibadan. We have another one in Bauchi, inland. Then we have Mercedes in Enugu. All these companies, Nigeria own 51% of the share. And at that time, we were doing well. We were having the Range Rover in Ibadan. We were having truck in Bauchi. We were having Mercedes truck in Enugu. Then we have Peugeot Automobile in Kaduna. Then we have Volkswagen in Lagos. Nigeria government has 51% in all this company. But what did they tell us? Government has no business in running a business. What happens to all the business today? They all collapse. Those who know how to run business, they run it down. So you cannot see the problem of liberalism. Human beings are recreated in the image of corporate company. The way people talk today is about company. Look at $10. Somebody said that book is going to sell more than the Bible. One of the lies he has told. There was a time he was owing billions of naira, and people were still ready to trade business with him. He didn't tell us that he met money at home. He did not tell us how Obasanjo took him to Kupolokun. Kupolokun was the managing director of NNPC. Obasanjo took $10 to Kupolokun when he was running Senos oil. And he was given crude, diesel, petrol at official price. And that's how he was able to make that money. From there, he was able to buy AP. Now he sold them. Then he went for Giregu and a motor shopper plant. So that's how they make their money. Your weight, my weight. But they are smart people now. Smarter than us. And he's now telling us stories. About Jasko's story. And people are buying it. It now becomes a motivator. This is how just what liberalism does. Because the government has no control. They are telling you that government should not do anything. In Islam, government intervene. When you see things going to the extreme, the government has to intervene. That's what we call al-hizbah in an Islamic economy. The government has to intervene. When things are going down, if there is food scarcity, you intervene. Everything is not on the forces of demand and supply. Then let the market dictate. Who owns the market? Who dictates the market? The government has to intervene. That's why in Islam there is market pricing board to determine market pricing. You are not going to take it so high and will not take it so ridiculously. People should make their profit. That's the government intervention. Neoliberal don't see any reason to pay zakah because they see the wealth as their own wealth. Where should I pay zakah? To who? To the poor, to the needy, to the wayfarer, to the orphan? No. Why can't they work? There's an argument going on social media about a year ago. It came from Igbo guy that why should children look after their parents? Why should they look after their parents? There is an entitlement mentality. That the parents should look after themselves and the children should look after themselves. And many of our children are absorbing some of all this teaching. Consciously or unconsciously. Because that's what they call information diffusion. What does that mean? Information spread anyhow. Somebody had the data, 500 gig, or 50 gig, or 10 gig from Glo, on the basis of a wolf gig. He can concoct, he can fabricate anything and post it. And we start sharing it and it become truth. And the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So they don't pay zakat. They don't need to pay zakat. They find it difficult to pay zakat. The measure of success is from wealth and status. What level is he? How much does he have? But the concept of al-falah, success, as mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun, Quran 23, Allah said, Qad aflaha al-mu'minun. Allah said, believers, they have succeeded, they have made it. And who are these people? The first Allah mentioned is about Salat in Hushush, state of God consciousness. And that he avoids vain talk. He doesn't use his mouth anyhow. He doesn't gossip, he doesn't backbite. And he pays zakah. He maintains the trust, the amana. Many of us today cannot keep any amana. Why are we doing that? It's because of some of all this idea, because the use of accountability before God and man has disappeared. Every day people are being shortchanged. Every day people are being cheated. Muslim, non-Muslim, we are doing it. Banks are losing billions of naira every year, courtesy of IT guy. When you go and check them, he answers a Muslim name. Those who go for the last Hajj, if you check it online, many of them are just Agberu. So money is the ultimate. So there is the widespread identity crisis among the Muslims due to the influence of neoliberalism. People don't even know they are Muslim. They absorb this ideology, hook, line, and sinker, and they keep on wanting to recruit other Muslims to join them. Material acquisition, again, Islamic spiritual commitment. Liberalism fosters consumerism and unbridled enjoyment. What does that mean? In liberal people, sex, accessory, and drink. People are just, you make money, you look for sex. There is hookup. In those days when you talk of prostitute, you don't even announce that you're a prostitute. In volume 7 of Sahih Buhari, Buhari mentioned the type of marriages that existed before Islam. One of these is that there are women who will stay on the door of their houses like this. They will carry a flag. I'm a prostitute. Come and have something to do with me. As at that time. Now, what do you now have today? You have Olosho, you now have hookup. There are apps to access these people. They will tell you 500,000 naira for it, 200,000 naira for that. And that's all those who are into ritual killing now find it as a way to get their victim very easily. So these are liberalism. Sex is now a commodity to be sold. And as long as you have money, you can get it anyhow. Not from marriage. Then accessory. A lot of us gather accessory that we don't even need. But you are the appetite in that is created. Let's give an example of Coca-Cola. Whatever I'm going to be saying from the environment, we just study and look at the environment. There's an advertisement of Coca-Cola. You see a bottle that is very sheet. You see dot of water in it. And somebody is going to pick that bottle and put it in his mouth and finishing it and drop the bottle. Can anybody drink Coca-Cola like that with the gas? It's not possible. But that's why when you get to people's houses now, they don't give you water. What they will give to you is that to give you Coke. If they know you are an elderly man, they give you malt. In Sunnah Ibn Majah, the Rasul said, the best of gift is to give water to somebody. That the best of gift is to give water to someone, not Coke, not what. You can see how some of us abandon our religion without knowing, consciously, because of what we see in our environment. Give somebody water to drink, one is sunnah, it's going to be helpful to his head or her head. Now to give him Coke, or give him water, or give him malt. So, then drink. Hennessy. Somebody said Hennessy is in thousands of naira. Then all those expensive drink, millions. And people take joy in acquiring all those ones. Liberalism engender individual freedom. I mentioned that earlier on, instead of collective responsibility. Islam talk about collective responsibility. Come together, do things together. In one of the hadiths of the Prophet, it's an At-Tirmidhi, it's Ibn Sunnah Ibn An-Nasai. Rasul said, I command you 5 things which Allah has given to me. The first thing the Prophet mentioned that hadith is a jama'ah. That come together. Come together. Join your Muslim brother. A jama'ah. Then now after that, he talk about Asalamu. Listening. Always ready to listen as a Muslim. Don't make your own personal mind to determine what you do. They now say Atoa. Obedience. Obedience to Allah. Obedience to the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala sallam. He now say Al-Hijrah. That is ability to withdraw from one place to another place. withdraw from a way of life you have been living to a good way of life. That's hijrah. He now say, Al-jihadu fi sabilillah, striving in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the Prophet now concluded and now said, if any person move away from a Jama, that is, sever himself from a Jama. No, I want to be a Muslim. I don't want to deal with anybody. I can pray in my house. I can fast in my house. Then the Prophet said, such a person has gone back to kufru, to disbelief. They now said, yeah, Rasulullah, what even if he pray? The Rasul said, even if he prays and he fasts and he beats his chest that I'm a Muslim, the person is a kafir. So individualism has no place as far as this religion is concerned. That's everything we do is collective duties as Muslims. Human beings see themselves as sufficient with liberalism. Allah say, Kala inna nisan la yatika anra ustagina. This is Surah Al-Alaq. Verily, man transgress because he considers himself self-sufficient. It's only when you don't belly food that you disobey Allah. Somebody is hungry, he doesn't look for woman. Somebody is hungry, does not look for sex. Somebody sent a message to me this morning of a guy, he's a Muslim by name. He's one of the officials of Amak in Abuja. Went to an hotel with a lady called Ruth, checked into the hotel, and they were there for 2 or 3 days. They were playing Premier League together. He was not drinking and was doing it. Not drinking, he was doing it. Not drinking, he was doing it. So when the lady became worried about the guy said, the lady went out to go and buy energy drink. And as he took the energy drink, he started gasping and he died. That guy may have 2 wives at home. He may have 2 wives. And that's the evil of the energy drink. The energy drink must have entered into his heart, palpated his heart to the point of death. Now look at it, he was there, not 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. Because of what? Because he has money. Anybody living in Abuja today that will know that money and Abuja people are 5 and 6. So when you have money, you transgress. When you have money, you misbehave. Unless employ the word or good. They won't transgress it and obey other ideologies or teaching beside Allah. We normally hear the word Togut in the Quran. Allah mentioned in Surah to Nisa, Quran 4 verse 75. Allah mentioned in Surah to Baqarah, Quran 2 verse 256. Allah said, La ikra fi din. Kodi tabaja no shud melegayi. Fam yakru bi Togut wa yuminu billah. Fa kodi sam saka bi urwa to wusko. La fi soma la wallahu samiul alim. Allah said there is no compulsion in religion. Verily the right has become distinct from the wrong path. Whoever disbelieves in Togut and believes in Allah, then he has grabbed the most trustworthy handle that will never break. What is that Togut? You know, we read it in the Quran several times. We have, these are what we call Togut. I have about 6 meaning of Togut. Number 1, a Togut is a false god, or a false idol, or a false belief. If you have an idol, you bow down, or you seek help from, or you have a belief system that directs your way of life. That is a Togut. Then number 2, Shaitan himself is Togut. In so many ways you obey Shaitan. Ibrahim ibn Adham, Ibrahim was one of the tabi'in, an ascetic. He said you love Allah. You claim to love Allah. But you disobey him and obey Shaitan. So you cannot claim to love Allah and Shaitan dictate to you and you follow the dictate of Shaitan. So Shaitan himself is Togu. Then number 3, a tyrant and oppressive ruler. He constitute Togut. Wherever he finds himself, whether in the home, whether in the state, or in country, anywhere, you are a leader and you are an oppressive, you are a tyrant. Then number 4, a soothsayer, or a magician, or a false authority. Those of us that cannot do anything, you go and meet Malam. The Malam will explain to you. Hey, it's Malam now. It's not Babalawo. There is no difference between a Babalawo, an Alpha, and a pastor who are soothsayer. They are brothers and sisters. And their patron is Shaitan. You want to get married, you have to go and find out whether that marriage go to work. And it's Malam now. He used Tesubah. There is no difference between the Tesubah he has used and the Okwefa or Yekumeji or Konomeni that he has used. There's no difference. In fact, I have a material in my house where the 16 Okwefa, I know the Arabic equivalent of all of them. And the same sign. In the same way. If you use Yerosun, the powder from the tree, then the other will use another thing. There's no difference. So it is Shaitan. And I call that an associated triangle. It's an associated triangle. There is the Malam or Alpha on the top, there is the pastor here, and there is the Babalawo here. Where they want to meet, they meet. They help themselves. The pastor comes to the affair. Most of the pastors who are making noise today, they have affair. I examined somebody at UI as a professor. In one of the papers, he mentioned the affair that Abiara used to patronize in Ibadan. He said there's nobody that who does not know that affair. That Abiara will always come to that place every day. I mentioned the name because I know it was a fact. And there are so many of them that many of our brothers who claim to be afar. Instead for you to use the judgment of Allah from the Quran and the Sunnah, you now want to use any of this ideology to determine that. Then it's an act of Tawgut. Then number 6, the one who claims knowledge of your sin, ilmul ghaib, without proof from Allah. Allah talked to, there's a guy from Shaki. Those of you from Shaki, you gotta go and take care of that boy. There's a Shaki, a guy in Shaki who is committing a lot of atrocity in Shaki. They say he died some days ago, and they were arguing whether he should be buried in a Muslim burial ground or not. He has woken up. He said he did not die. He went for Alwa, that he went to go and see Allah. He said so many terrible things that he's a kafir. But he claimed to be a Muslim. And there are so many like that in our midst today. There are many of us listen to that they influence us indirectly without we knowing. And that is why the social media has done enormous damage to our psychic, to our psychology, to our behavior, to our utterances. You are not conscious that you have been influenced, but you have been influenced negatively on so many things. Most of the afar or scholars in Southwest that we listen to, many of them are just destroying us. They're just destroying or creating problems, fitness in the society. Because we have no regulation. In a decent society, there should be regulation about what to say, who to say, when to say. And I think that's the only way for us to move forward in this country. So I thought good. It's under the illusion that he is self-sufficient. Al-Istighna. Allah is the only one that is al-Ghani. Allah is al-Ghani. Nobody is Ghani. Now, what is Islam? We have been saying it, Islam, we are a Muslim. What does it mean? Do we actually understand what it means? Islam means submission and surrender to Allah alone. You submit and you surrender. How do you surrender? You do like this. When you see soldier fighting soldier and they are captured, what do? They raise their hand like this. And that's what you do in Takribat al-Ihram. When you want to observe Salah, there are two ways to do Takribat al-Ihram. To your shoulder, to your this. That one is acceptable. Or you raise it up to your earlobe. When you raise to your earlobe, what you are saying, I surrender to you, Allah. Allahu Akbar. Meaning that nothing should be greater in your mind except Allah. That is Islam. Now, Islam is the only accepted religion in the sight of Allah. We have no apology to make about this. What is the evidence for that? Allah in Surah Al-Imran, Quran 3 verse 19, Allah says, Inna dini inda Allah Islam. Allah said the only religion with Allah is Islam. I'm not the one that says so. If you have family who are Christian, maybe your mother is a Christian, it doesn't abrogate this verse. It doesn't abrogate the verse. And because you work in a non-Muslim area, you want to please the Christian, you cannot say this. Why must you not be able to say so? Are you the owner of the Quran? This is how liberalism has affected us. But the Christian can tell you that there is only way to God, and that way is Jesus Christ. They will tell you boldly, inside the car, inside vehicle, everywhere they bombard you with it, and you cannot say they didn't need Al-Islam. That the only religion with Allah is Al-Islam. I don't want to be called a fanatic. I'm a liberal. You are a monarchic. When you qualify yourself as a liberal, it's an act of nifaq. Again, in Quran 3 verse 80, Allah says, "Woman you have to get Al-Islam Dina, Fala Jubala Minimum." Allah said, whoever who seek any religion apart from Islam will not be accepted from him or her. That's another knockout. If you come with anything, decorate it, amplify it, make it so beautiful. There's a guy in Lebanon, Hakim Bile. He has changed the name of his group more than 7 times. I think they call themselves MLS. He used to be along this Poly Road, along this White Road. He was an MSS brother. This is how it always starts. When you are looking for things outside Islam, many things are going to come. That's why RMQK came in. There's another guy, many of us are sharing. I don't think we should be sharing that guy. One professor or something like that, something. I don't know. I don't even say. At times he's going to say something good, but you need to have knowledge of Islam to know what he's saying is even good or not good. These are the people of social media. All of them, we are listening to them. It's like somebody using AI. You are not a scholar of Islam, you are using AI. How do you know what you are being given in AI is correct? You are checking, you are searching online for information. How do you know the information you are going to be given from online is correct? You need to have the foundation for you to know that what AI or Google is going to give to you is correct. They can give you a Shia ideology because algorithm is just going online to pick them, summarize and give it to you. And these are the things affecting us. Somebody can now, before as we are talking now, people can be Googling some of the things we are saying now. They want to know what has Google said, what has AI, what has ChatGPT has said, what has LEC said, what has Gemini said, what has Nova AI said. And that's where our problem has become so compounded. We are distant from scholars. We are distant from the masjid, but our phone has now replaced scholarship in our mind. And this is something I'm talking about. It's a left banner. You don't start it, when I'm going to 50, I'm going to be a good Muslim. When I become 60, when I'm going to retire from the public service, I'm going to be a better Muslim. Or when I'm 30, I'm going to be a good Muslim. Or when I get married, I'm going to be a good Muslim. Allah says, وَلَا تَمُتُونَ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Do not die except you die in the state of submission. Die with submission. And that's why one day, a Bedouin Arab, when you say Bedouin, meaning those who are so backward in civilization, he came to the masjid and said, oh Allah, let the best of my deed be the last of my deed. Let the best of my day, the day I'm going to die, and the day I'm going to meet Allah. He wasn't talking of the day of graduation, or the day he's going to get married. But he's talking of and the deed he wants. He said, let it be a good deed that will be pleasing to Allah. How many of us think of that deed? The one that died with a woman, with Ruth, after 3 days of Premier League in an hotel. Was he going to tell Allah? So let the last of my deed be the best of my deed. Maybe Hajj, maybe fasting, maybe Tilawat al-Quran, maybe Sajid Sujud in Salah. Not somebody drink alcohol or somebody taking kolo. Or if you look at kolo, everybody is taking kolo. Children are taking kolo. Wife are taking kolo. Husband are taking kolo. They say it's for depression. So, now, when you look at what we are saying, we can capture all we are saying about Islam from the understanding of one particular word. What is that word? The word dinu. What is the meaning of din in Islam? In Islam, din does not translate solely as religion. The word din does not translate solely as religion. Din is a belief system with universal rules and principles. That's why when somebody says it's an Arab culture, say shut up. Islam is not meant for the Arab. Anything that is Arabian culture cannot be part of Islam. If you are doing it, you are just doing it culturally. Nobody is going to impose. That's why you look at the way we are today. We are not wearing any uniform. We have people with polo. We have people with jersey. We have people with kaftan. Everybody is Islamic in the way we have dressed. We are not like the Reverend Father of the who must always wear a particular color, or Jehovah's Witness, or Kerubu and Seraphim, or Sele. So anybody now say that it has to Jalabia, are you an Arab? Then you have to go and buy the Palestine or the Saudi Arabia South to do your mashallah, mashallah. Who told you that? That's Islam. You are just crazy. You are just imitating culture. Your barbaric guy is okay. Your Kebe is Islamic. Your Dansiki is fantastic. Even the Abeti Aja is excellent. The rapper among the Kwere is fantastic. If you go on Hajj, you see the donation. They tie the Arapa anywhere they are going. You see the Indian. They tie the Arapa. That shows that Islam is a commonwealth. Anything Islam comes in, as long as it is not contrary to Islamic teaching. So that is the word din. Then there are ritual daring. The ritual of Salah, the ritual of Janasa, the ritual of Tayammum, the ritual of Hajj. These are ritual. It also refers to a nation. Which nation? Ummah of Islam, the Muslim community. Umar radiallahu say, La Islam illa imara. That there is no Islam except there is leadership. And there is no leadership except there is Torah. For you to have a leader, you must have an Ummah. So if you're talking of Islam, there must be a community now. That community, you must have a leader. That leader, you must obey him. That's Islam. So it's a nation. It's a community. And again, it's an ideology. It's an akida. It's a manhaj for all aspects of life as Muslim. Islam does not make a decision between worldly life and spiritual life. Now, it's the deen as a religion. I mentioned that in the deen in Allah Islam, Quran 3 verse 19, deen, Allah mentioned deen as judgment and accountability. Maliki Yaumi Deen, Isra to Fatiha. Owner of the day of judgment. What does that mean? A day of recompense. There's going to be resurrection, bodily resurrection. Then there's going to be accountability, al-hisab, and there's going to be reward and punishment. That's deen. So if you come for Salah, Allah is going to reward you. You have a belief, an understanding that your Salah is not going in vain. You are doing it for Allah, not for anybody. And deen as obedience and submission. In Surah Bayin, Allah said, وَمَا هُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ. And they were commanded only to worship Allah. That's the commandment of Allah. Worshiping Allah and making religion purely for Allah alone. That is submission and surrender. Now, there are 3 levels of Islam. I'm going to paraphrase a very lengthy hadith for this discussion. There's a hadith called the hadith of Jibril, hadith 2 of Nawawi. The scholars of Islam say it's the foundation of Islam. Anything you want to know about Islam, that hadith is enough. It's an hadith in which Jibril came in a human form, wearing a white cloth, and nobody knew among the companions except the Prophet. He came to the gathering, sat down in front of the Prophet, and his knee was touching the knees of the Prophet. People were surprised. What kind of human being is this? And he was asking, tell me about Islam. And the Prophet gave him the 5 pillars. Then tell me about Iman. And he told him to believe in Allah, the angel, the books, to believe in Qadar. And he told him, tell me about Ihsan. He said to worship Allah until you are seeing him. Now, from this hadith, we have those who are Muslim. When you do the minimum of Islam, Salah, when you wake up in the morning, 2 rakah, no rakah, 25 Fajr. Salat al-Zuhr, 4 rakah. Salat al-Asr, 4 rakah. Maghrib 3 raka, Isha 4 raka. Fakat, you are a Muslim. You are not doing badly. That's the level you are. You fast. You don't do tatawa. Zakat. If zakat enter your money, you pay. If you don't have it, mashallah. Maybe you have not even performed hajj. You are a Muslim. Nobody is telling you that you cannot enter paradise. Then the level of iman. At the level of iman, then you talk of the quantity of ibadah. The quantity of ibadah. That's why when you wake up in the morning, like we were told there last week, you wake up for Salatul Fajr, you do Rakatul Fajr. There's time for dua, you do dua. Salatul Zuhri, you do Raka before and after. These are quantity, these are the position of this level of iman. You are going beyond the ordinary, the basement. Then, at that level, you are a mu'min. The third level is the level of being a Muslim. At this level, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Somebody to be a Muslim has already passed through the level of quantity. Now, this is a level of quality. So it combines both quality and quantity together. So for you to be a Muslim, you must be an ideological Muslim. You must be ideological. Anything you are doing, you must use Islam as your lens. You must use Islam as your compass. In the life of a Muslim, there is no division between worldly life and the hereafter. It is one alone. If he's doing anything in this world, he's doing it because of the other life, because of the hereafter. You remember the Adidas who said every Muslim, we are traveler, we are on a journey. He knows where he's going. Somebody going to Lagos, get to worry and offload his load and spread his carpet and lie down. What are you going to call that kind of person? A madman, a majnun, a madman. Then, a Muslim, he approaches business just like Salah. He's very conscious of Allah in Salah. He's very conscious of Allah in business. Why are we duping ourselves in businesses? Why are Muslims afraid of recruiting Muslims as accountants? You don't want to get a Muslim to work because they have dealt with you. Every action of a Muslim is an act of worship. He doesn't separate it. His aim is to get reward when he's cohabiting with his wife or husband. He's looking for reward. You don't weaponize sex in marriage in order to address a conflict. If you want to be a Muslim, you go and close your workshop just because you have quarrel with your wife or with your husband. You go and throw away the key. Maybe to Kanga or what's your of Kanga? Well. He spend his time with his family. Quality time with his family. And he doesn't allow his wife to beg. Whenever our women beg, the husbands have abandoned them. Some of our men are not men, are rijal. You're not men. You marry your wife is begging around, your children are begging around, and you are still producing. Whether to go and sip up. So if you're a Muslim, what does he do? He struggles to ensure that he carries out his responsibility because you know that he's not doing it for them, for the wife, or for the children, because it's his own responsibility. Who reward him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who can reward men? Who can compensate men? It's only Allah now. Everything we are hearing now is to take care of wife. I ask myself the question, who cares for the men? Me, my mother has died. I'm an orphan, complete one. You understand? So, who look after the men? But your consolation is that you are worshiping Allah. You are worshiping Allah. Even the children cannot compensate you. You can't, they can't. Somebody went on Hajj during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu. He told his mom, Mom, I won't allow you to use your leg to do tawaf and Safa al-Marwa. I'm going to carry you. Anybody who has done Hajj, that's what we are saying. And he did that. He went to Umar radiallahu anhu and said, have I returned the gift my mother has given to me? Umar said, Allah, you have not done anything. And that's the truth. He has not done anything. And when the woman submits to her husband, she does not see it as subjugation or slavery. These are killer of liberalism. Men are subjugating the women. Where do you get all this from the Quran? Most of our women have been imbibed this ideology wrongly, without knowing that they are just living the path of Islam. A man or a woman spend quality time with his family. You are not doing your wife a favor by staying at home, by being with them, or your children. You are not doing them any favor. You are doing your job. So there's a gap, even in the family system. So what kind of an ideology do you profess? Now, I've talked about liberalism. Let's now talk about feminism. Feminism is a ravaging modern ideology. Feminism originated in England in the 18th century. What is the goal? It was basically to eradicate common law, English common law, that considered to be oppressive to women. They considered them discriminatory, and that's where secular feminism started. And what of these came from the Bible? One of them is that a man and woman becoming one flesh. That is, when you get married, these are the things they preach in the church. Man and woman become one flesh in marriage. That's strange to Islam. You don't become one flesh. You are still husband and wife. So the Europeans considered it to be very discriminatory, meaning that a woman does not have an identity of her own. These are reasons why feminism was introduced. Again, that Eve was the one who brought evil to Adam, meaning that the original sin came into being because of the evil of women. Allah in Islam, Allah did not blame Hawa. Allah did not blame Adam. The two of them sought forgiveness from Allah. Adam did not tell Hawa to seek forgiveness. Rabbana salamuna afusana. The two of them raised their hand to Allah. This is Surah Al-Araf 7 verse 23. What did they say? That the two of us will be losers. When you slaughter fowl, they believe that only the husband should eat the gizzard. Where is that written that a woman cannot eat gizzard? These are things our papa fabricated just to remain on top. And when you slaughter a fowl, the right leg, even the two legs, should go to the husband. The woman have to kneel down and stay there until the woman cook the food though. She's going to eat the fingers. That's not part of Islam. But it does also mean that the woman should eat the two legs too. It doesn't mean that the woman should eat the two legs. And go and give the backbone to the man. The man will now begin to stroke. A woman gave towel, and served her husband towel inside of bono soup. And the man thought it was shaki. And the man was struggling with it until now it was towel. A woman will not enter paradise in life. How can you serve your husband towel? Towel. What did he do? So a woman can eat gizzard. A woman can eat the leg of a fowl. If the man is not available and what remains for him, give it to him. Don't say it is Islam. No, there's nothing like that in Islam. There's nothing like that in Islam. There are two legs. You can take one leg, he can also take one leg. That is it. When we are growing up now, we are told that the children don't eat egg now. It makes them to steal. But we now know that our parents cannot afford it. It was just a tactical way to put our eyes from fish or from egg. And we never complain. I don't want to be a thief. So when they give you egg there, you don't touch it. So there are many things people do culturally. Let's give some of the taboo. In Yoruba culture, you don't sweep your house at night. They say, don't sweep. You don't sweep. What does that mean? they say you are going to become poor. You are not going to be poor. During those periods, there was no electricity. You can sweep money, you can see jewelries outside. And if you do not wake up very early the following morning, somebody will have passed in front of your house and will see those things and take it away. Again, they will tell you, you don't sit on top of Odo, the big one, no. They say if you do that, you are going to have boil in your anus. It's the Odo that they use to cook, to do pounded yam. You can be fatty inside it. It's an hygienic issue. Number 3, don't sit on the road. If you sit on the road, they will tell something to go to happen. And we all know those of us in safety. We now know that somebody can be coming from the kitchen with a hot water. And as you're about to come out, you are there, he fall on you, the hot water is going to be on you. Even those who do rukia, one of the causes of jinn possessing human being is you pouring hot water from your house to the outside. Don't do it. If you have any hot water, pour it in your sink. I think I given a lecture on demonic possession some years back here. One of the reasons why people can be possessed by the jinn is the way you dispose your hot water. You just pour it outside, and then the jinn is passing by. You pour it on him, and the people will come back and attack you. So don't do that. Pour your water inside your sink. These are cleanliness. These are safety issues. But because we have no safety expert, they have to be woven around taboo. Don't do this. Don't go to the farm on a market day. What happened? If everybody go to the farm, who will buy the thing they are bringing to the market? So they have to create an economic coverage so that everybody can buy and sell. Now, when you are there, have you gone there? They say there they go, but they are hearing voices of strange things. How are you not going to hear the voices that are strange? Now, the farm is very, very silent. Even if a lizard pass, just notice that, girl, you become afraid. So it's psychological. There is no spirit you are seeing in the farm. It is your mindset. But our Baba, who did also law, they use it to create safety, economic safety for themselves. So that on market day, nobody should go to the farm. So that people can buy and sell. Now, even in Nigeria, especially in the south and the southeast, a woman cannot plant yam. She can plant cassava. She can plant another crop. Why? Because yam is the king of the fruit. Only the men should plant it. That's patriarchy. So those of us, these are the things you should be attacking. Not Islamic teaching. There is nothing saying a woman cannot plant yam. In my play, women plant yam. Or a woman cannot break kola nut. That's Igbo. Go to the north now. Aji Amero will break kola nut. You break so many in a day. And you go to chew it like chewing shingon. So people have to fabricate some of all these things in order to create their own rules and regulations, their own law. So people that are in feminism, these are the culture they met. And they now introduce feminism. Now there are types of feminism. We have the liberal feminism. These are those who are calling for equal rights for men and women. Is that possible? That's how we got it wrong. Then we also have cultural feminism. All those things I've been mentioning, they want to change them. And that's why they're having problems in our society. You cannot change all of them overnight. People, a lot of us today, we see marriage as slavery because of all these things that we have read. These are radical feminists. Again, they are saying there should be no difference between men and women in sexual infidelity. If a man can have a extramarital affair, why should a woman not have a extramarital? If a man can have side chick, why should a lady not have a side fowl? That's what it means. And I'm going to give you an example. For you to know some of all those things, we don't understand what happened. In France, a man can have mistress, and the wife will know the mistress up to tomorrow. Mistress is allowed